Hey guys, what is going on? Jurgen from Zergrino Sports here, and this is my Wrestlemania 34 review slash reactions. I don't know if I'm gonna give actual match ratings to any of the matches because it's kind of, I don't know. It was a weird show. It kind of underwhelmed in my opinion because when I was looking at the card going in, I was like, wow, this could be one of the best manias of all time if they do it right. Some of the matches were kind of weird for me. So yeah, I don't know, man. It was definitely better than the ones in recent history. It was better than last year's. It was better than 32, I think. Not better than 30, but 31 and 29, I think it was better than as well. So it's been one of the best in recent times. So at least there's that. And it was a good show. It wasn't a bad show, but it was just a little bit underwhelming for me personally. You guys might have a different opinion, of course. But man, let's get into it. So the pre-show obviously consisted of the two Battle Royals and the Cruiserweight Championship match. So the men's Battle Royal, the Armbar, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, started off the pre-show, the kickoff show, whatever they're calling it. And Woken, I don't know why they still call him Woken instead of Broken, but I don't know. Hopefully they transition into Broken. Woken Matt Hardy won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. If you watched my predictions video, I had predicted, I believe it was Johnny Gargano that I predicted, and that prediction went out the window when he beat Tommaso Ciampa at TakeOver. So, I think I did mention Matt could win it. So, I was like, he was kind of one of my, what is that called in the top 10 list? When honorable mentions. He was like an honorable mention of mine, I guess. Man, it was, it's a battle royal. The battle royals aren't usually anything spectacular. It just kind of, they're just there, and it's the eliminations don't really matter, like who eliminates who, whatever, until the last few people are left. So it was an okay way to start the show, the kickoff show at least. It would have been a terrible way to start actual Mania, but yeah. In terms of the kickoff show, I think it was a decent way to start it. Woken Matt won. Bray Wyatt returned. I believe it was Corbin and Mojo were left with Matt as the final three. They go to eliminate Matt. Lights go out. Bray shows up, helps Matt eliminate one of the two by getting them for the Sister Abigail instead of doing the Sister Abigail, directing them towards Matt Hardy. And then the other guy gets eliminated, I think. I don't know. I don't really remember. I remember that was one of the eliminations. I think maybe somebody else got eliminated before that. But so Bray helped Matt win the match, and it looks like Bray is aligned with Matt now, which is an interesting dynamic. I hope after all the Matt Hardy stuff, he goes back to being a cult leader from the Bayou instead of his, supernatural gimmick, because, the supernatural gimmick, it's hard to do a supernatural gimmick because, especially with the way they book him, because they're like, oh, hey, this guy's a supernatural being, but he loses every week. So, is he really that credible? He's lost his credibility because of the booking WWE have given him, unfortunately. But, yeah. So next up, they had the Cruiserweight title match. Cedric versus Mustafa Ali. In my predictions video, I said this was 50-50. Like either man could win. I think I ended up predicting Mustafa Ali because he'd been doing like some promos and vignettes and stuff that made me kind of believe they were going with him. But Cedric did win in the end, and that's a perfectly fine choice. Both men deserve it. Both men are incredible athletes. And I think the biggest takeaway from this match, for me at least, was to see just how much passion that the guys had. Like in the match, you could see it after the match when Cedric was celebrating. Spud, or Drake Maverick, I know him as Spud from TNA and stuff, but yeah, Drake Maverick, when he handed Cedric the title, he was like holding back tears, you could see, because like they all have passion for the business, and it's great to see that. Like when Cedric got the pin on Mustafa Ali, first thing he did was, presumably, I think he like thanked him or something, because as soon as he got the pin, he went like, he did that thing where you put your heads together, and I'm assuming he was thanking him for the match and all that stuff. So yeah, man, that was a really nice thing to see, just to see the passion on display in the cruiserweight division from these two, from Drake Maverick, everything like that. So yeah, it was a really nice match. The match itself was good too. So yeah, it was really nice. Next up, you had the Women's Battle Royal, and I did not like this because Becky should have fucking won, and Naomi won. And I don't have any problems with Naomi, but the thing with Naomi is she had her Mania moment last year, and then she had the title for a fairly decent amount of time after Mania. And, like, you know, she's had her Mania moment, and she held the title for a long time. She's already kind of gotten her push, and then you have somebody on the roster like Becky Lynch, who is better than Naomi. She's one of the four horsewomen, if I could get that out. She's one of the best women's wrestlers in the company, if not the world. And and they've done nothing with her since she was the inaugural SmackDown Live Women's Champion. So it's kind of annoying in that sense, because I think she needed it. She probably deserved it, and they're really underutilizing her. This match did have some moments that I liked, though. I liked the NXT people featuring. A lot of people didn't expect a lot of NXT women to be in the match, but they kind of needed it because the rosters are pretty thin up on the main roster, so they would have needed some NXT, people. They actually did a lot more storytelling in this one than the Andre one, because in this one, the match started and Carmella was like, yeah, Money in the Bank, Miss Money in the Bank, blah, blah, blah. And then they just all ganged up on her and threw her out, which kind of put her over as like this annoying heel that everybody hates. It's building heat for her. They had a portion in the match where the NXT women kind of like took out the WWE women, and then they were like, this is NXT, and they led an NXT chant, which was really nice. I'm a big fan of Peyton Royce, so it was nice to see her in the Battle Royal. I'm not sure why Billie Kay wasn't in it. Maybe she's injured, but I think I read on Twitter that she did matches at Access, so I don't know. But yeah, man, the match itself was the Battle Royal itself was fine. It was just the winning, the ending ruined it for me. Also, I wasn't paying attention because I looked away for a second to do something, and then both Becky and Naomi were out on the floor or something like that. And apparently Naomi went over the top rope, but like she was meant to win, so the rest were just like, nah, just get back in. And the finish was really stupid too. The finish was like, so Naomi's a babyface, and Becky is kind of a babyface, and Sasha's kind of the heel. But so anyway, it was left down to Bayley and Sasha. Fucking, they like walk up to each other to square off or whatever, and then just out of nowhere, Bayley just throws Sasha out like that. She thinks she wins, and then Naomi, the babyface, may I remind you, just kind of walks into the match, and she's like, "Oh, I'm still here," and then eliminates Bayley. And it's like, that's not really a babyface thing to do. So that pissed me off. The fact that it was Naomi and not Becky pissed me off, and the fact that Bayley did the heelish maneuver type thing to eliminate Sasha pissed me off. So it was just, they made a lot of weird decisions in the match that pissed me off, but the Battle Royal itself was fine. It's just the decision making was something else. So yeah, that was the kickoff. Now onto the main roster. They started strong with the Intercontinental title triple threat. As predicted, Seth Rollins won. He's the only member of the Shield to not be a Grand Slam. Not is, because he won. But before the night, he was the only member of the Shield not to be a Grand Slam champion, I believe. So they had to do it like that. Miz just had a kid, so presumably he wants to take some time off. And Finn, like I said, I don't think they're too hot on Finn right now, so I didn't really think he had a chance. So my prediction in that sense was right. This was a really, really nice way to start off the show. Seth's attire was great. Miz's attire was great, and Finn's attire sent a good message. A lot of people were kind of disappointed it wasn't Demon Balor because it's WrestleMania and it's a big case, a big showcase, I guess is what I'm looking for. It's like a big occasion, you know what I mean? It's an important match, so you'd think the Demon would get called out. But my thought process behind it was that don't want to tarnish the reputation of the Demon, so they didn't have him get the Demon stuff because he wasn't winning the match. I feel like when the Demon gets beat on the main roster, because I don't think he has gotten beat on the main roster as the Demon, when the Demon gets beat on the main roster, I think it'll be to put somebody over in like a singles feud. So that's presumably why they didn't have him come out as the Demon, and plus it sends a good message at the same time. It's like a double positive, win-win, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. You know, they protect the reputation of the Demon, and they send a good message, which will get them good publicity. Because I'm sure that there will be news outlets that are like, oh, this professional wrestler came to the ring sporting LGBT positive attire or something like that. So it'll get them good publicity, and they protect the reputation of the Demon. Yeah, man, it was a good match. I mean, all of the people in there are good. So, yeah, very, very good way to start the show. Next, they had the SmackDown Live Women's Championship match, Asuka versus Charlotte. I was surprised to see this go on this early. And more fucking surprising is that Charlotte beat fucking Asuka. Which was just, it caught me off guard real big. Because, like, I don't know, man. I'm so pissed, right? Because I was watching this match. And, like, maybe halfway through or, like, 3/4 through, I needed to fucking take a shit so bad, right? But I was fucking holding out. I was like, dude, just end this match so I can go take a shit. I don't want to miss this. But I had to go. And I fucking missed the finish when I went to take a shit. I'm still pissed about that. So, yeah, that sucks. And then Asuka cut a promo after that said Charlotte was ready for Asuka. And she said something else that I can't remember, which was, nice. I don't like that they ended the streak like this. And because they could have used it better. They could have used the streak much better. And I don't mean by having it continue longer for Ronda. I wouldn't have been happy about that. I'd rather have a wrestler like Charlotte end the streak than a MMA crossover end the streak. And that's not to say I don't like Ronda. I think she did really well, which I'll talk about later in the reactions, because her match was really good, and she did very well. But it's just, I'd much rather have like this wrestler, be the one who ends the streak. And so that's like the shining light, silver lining. That's what it is for me. But if they wanted to end the streak tonight, just have Asuka beat Charlotte and then bring out Carmella. And if she would, because Charlotte doesn't need this. She's already a big deal. She's already like the biggest deal on the SmackDown. Asuka was the biggest deal on Raw, and now it's like, okay, so Charlotte's the biggest deal in the company now. But like, she didn't need that. She didn't at all. Carmella could have benefited so much from cashing in on Asuka and beating the streak. Because with Charlotte, people are just kind of like, they're respectful, right? She's a great competitor, great wrestler, one of the best in the world. So, she beats Asuka and people are like, okay, that's shocking, but, respect, hats off to you. But if Carmella came out and beat the streak, she would have gotten such great heat. It would have been great for her character. And it's just, I don't know. I think, once again, the match itself, the portion of the match that I watched itself was great. Asuka countered a moonsault into a triangle choke, which was I've never seen that before, and that's incredible. Whoever thought of that spot is a genius, because that was an incredible spot. Yeah, man, I don't know. It's just decision making again. I think they could have made a better decision on how to end her streak, how to end this match, stuff like that. So, yeah, man. I'm not sure where Asuka goes from here. Not really sure where Charlotte goes from here. They don't really have a heel set up for her on the roster. My hope is she has like a celebration, like a streak-ending celebration on SmackDown. Becky's one of the people out there with her because they're best friends. Becky turns on her, and then Becky's her feud for the title. That's my hope. Is it going to happen? Probably not, because they don't want to use Becky properly. So, yeah. But yeah, decent match from what I saw. Or good match, not decent. Decent undersells it. But good match from what I saw. Decision-making kind of irks me. Then we had the Fatal 4-Way for the U.S. title. The match itself was fine. It was decent. It was like, there were good parts of it. Again, here's the problem. Here's the fucking problem. You have... And before I say this, let me preface this by saying I like Jinder Mahal. I'm not one of the people who dislike him. I think he's good. I think he's a good promo. I think in the ring he does his job. He's not anything spectacular in the ring, but he's not bad, in my opinion. I think he's good. I think he's a good heel. I think the Singh brothers add to him being a good heel because he weasels his way out of everything. I think he's good. The issue here is Rusev is one of, if not the most over wrestler in the company. And not only did he not win, he took the fucking pin. Like, that's ridiculous. And there are rumors that he asked for his release, and I don't fucking blame him. I think the rumors were that before Mania he asked for his release and they kind of put him in the match to get him to stay. But, like, I don't blame him for asking for his release, man. Because he's over as fuck. He's white hot, right? And they just don't want to push him because they weren't responsible for him getting over. He got himself over and they're punishing him for it. And that's what I hate so much about the WWE. If you get yourself over, they'll give you a little something and then fucking take it away and you're done. Look at Zack Ryder. He got himself over fucking huge. They gave him a little bit and then they fucking just, okay, no, he's nothing anymore. It's annoying, man, because they're not pushing him and they're profiting off of his merch sales, you know what I mean? So I don't know, it's just they need to put him over. There are positives to this. One positive would be a feud between Rusev and Jinder, because that means Rusev turns face and then he could win the title at the end of the feud. I think that'd be nice. Don't know if that's going to happen. But another thing is nobody expected him to win. So now he's got real heat. So that's good. That's like, it's Tommaso Ciampa heat. You know what I mean? It's real heat. So they could utilize that. They don't really have anybody on the roster who's just an out-and-out heel off the top of my head that people genuinely hate. So with them giving Jinder the win, most of the fans already don't like him that much. And now that he got the win over Rusev, that's massive heat for him. So they have an out-and-out heel, which is a silver lining. If they hopefully they utilize that well. If not, then the result was a waste. But yeah, man, I don't know. Rusev should have won. It's unfathomable, man. He's the most over guy, and they don't do anything with him. It's insane. Next we had, let's see. Okay. So next was Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey versus Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. This match was very, very good. This was one of the best matches of the night, which Stephanie McMahon has this just running thing where whenever she's part of a match, it's just fantastic. For some reason, I don't know what it is. You have this corporate executive who just has one of the best matches of the night every time she has a match. SummerSlam against Brie Bella was one of the better matches that night. This was one of the better matches on WrestleMania. Ronda was a lot better than I expected her to be. I didn't expect her to be bad because she's already got, combat experience with judo and MMA and all that. So she would have already had things coming in. But she was a lot farther along than I thought she would be, because she has been training for professional wrestling for less than a year, I think. So she was a lot farther along than I thought she would be, which was nice. She did really, really well, especially considering her first match was at WrestleMania in front of 78,000 people. That's incredibly nerve-wracking. And, she looked calm. She looked in her element. I think if things keep going this way, she could be just one of the best people on the roster to have, legitimately one of the best people in the company. Because if she kind of reminds me of Kurt Angle in a little bit. Obviously, I didn't watch Kurt Angle, but from what I have heard and read and all that, he knew nothing about wrestling going in, and obviously she does, but he picked it up incredibly quickly. And I think Ronda could be like Kurt Angle in the sense that she'll just pick things up incredibly quickly. So if she does that, she has the potential to be one of the better, women in the roster in the company. The match itself was great. I think they did well because usually in WWE, in mixed tag matches, they usually don't let the men and women fight each other. I think they did well to allow that to happen in this because it puts Ronda over. The fact that she could, it's Triple H too. It's not like it's just some random guy on the roster. It's Triple H, so she could, do damage on Triple H. That puts her over huge. Yeah, man, just all around great match. Obviously, Kurt and Ronda win. So yeah, that held true with my prediction. But yeah, man, it was a lot better than I expected, to be honest. So yeah, next up was the SmackDown Live Tag Team title matches. I like Luke Harper. I do. I don't like the Bludgeon Brothers, though. I think this should have been Usos' moment, and that's why I predicted Usos. And yeah, but Bludgeon Brothers won. The match itself kind of fell a bit flat for me, but yeah, I don't know. I might have to go back and rewatch it because I was kind of distracted during that match. I was kind of, I had something else to do at the same time, so I might go back and watch it, and maybe my perception of the match will change. But the match itself fell kind of flat. The positioning of it was kind of weird too because they kind of got all the I don't think the crowd was too into it because they'd been cheering for 4 hours at that point or something. So yeah, that was definitely interesting. I'm not a fan of Bludgeon Brothers going over. I think maybe if the Usos won in this and then they had a feud with Bludgeon Brothers and then Bludgeon Brothers won at a different pay-per-view, I would have been fine with it. The Usos have done just such incredible work in 2017 and even in 2018 is so far. So I think they kind of deserved that big Mania moment, but unfortunately did not happen for them. Next up, Undertaker showed up and fucking squashed John Cena. It was legitimately a squash match. I think it was 3 minutes, 4 minutes, maybe 5. I don't know. It was under 5 for sure. He fucking killed them, man. And I didn't include in my predictions video because I forgot, but underneath in the comments I wrote that I thought Cena was going to win. But holy fuck. Undertaker came out. First of all, Cena was actually in the crowd as a fan, and I thought that was cool, except for the fact that they would cut the camera to him so often that it kind of took away from the people in the ring. But yeah, man. And I think after the Asuka and Charlotte match, a ref came down, whispered something in his ear, and he just jumped the rail and ran to the back in what surely will become a meme. I think I already saw Fortnite memes about it, when the storm is shrinking or something, and it was just the gif of him running up the stage. So that's definitely going to be a meme. I hope it is because it was funny. He looks so fucking stupid when he runs. Yeah, man. Undertaker came out, fucking squashed him. Presumably this is going to set up a rematch next year if Undertaker is willing. I'm assuming that's what it's going to be. Rematch next year. Cena goes over, Taker retires. Or maybe at Survivor Series. I think a lot of people might want to see him retire at Survivor Series because that's where he kind of started the whole thing. So it would be full circle. But yeah, I loved it. I didn't think I would like Undertaker coming back because I thought, the hat and the way he left at last year's Mania was perfect. Not the loss, but, his end of the match thing. So yeah. I loved it, dude. It was I didn't think we'd ever see John Cena squashed again after Brock at that SummerSlam, but holy shit, this was a squash match at Mania, man. It was fucking incredible. Yeah, I think it has to lead to a rematch, though, somewhere down the line. I don't think this is the end of that. And I can't wait to see Dejected Cena on Raw tonight, so that's going to be interesting. Next up was Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. This match was kind of weird. They kind of booked themselves into a weird corner because they obviously could send Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn back to Raw. I didn't think they'd want to as soon as they are going to, presumably. Unless they're legitimately going to get released, which I don't think they'd be stupid enough to release Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Maybe storyline release them, and then they'll weasel their way back in or something. But yeah, this match was fine. It was pretty. It was just incredible to see Bryan back in a wrestling ring, like just doing what he does best. He hasn't wrestled for what, 2.5, 3 years, and it's like he didn't take that break. Like he just picked up right where he left off. He's just such an incredible wrestler, and it was just a wonderful moment to see him back in the ring. Even if he lost, like him being in the ring is his WrestleMania moment, I feel like. But obviously he got the win. They did a cool kind of dynamic where they took Bryan out before the match started. Shane kind of wrestled on his own for a bit. Then Bryan came back and then won the match. But yeah, man, I really don't know what they're going to do with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Don't know if they send them back to Raw. Apparently, they both changed their... like, Kevin Owens, I think, changed his Twitter to Fight Steen Fight. Which is... Obviously, Kevin Steen is his real name and his indie name, so... And I think Sami Zayn used the El Generico Twitter account again after they got fired on SmackDown. So it's interesting because they're using Twitter to their advantage. Yeah, man. Next up was Nia Jax vs. Alexa Bliss. It was okay. I mean, I don't think it was a bad match. It was kind of sloppy, but that's kind of... I don't know. That's kind of like commonplace with Nia matches, I feel like. Nia won. No cash-in. When Asuka lost, I think everybody was kind of like, okay, so there's no cash-in tonight. Because if she would have won, she would have gone to SmackDown, which would have meant Carmella cashing in on Raw. But no, Asuka lost means no cash-in. Nia won. I think the crowd was blown up at this point, so nobody was really too into it. But, I mean, good for her. She got to win the women's title at WrestleMania. That's a big accomplishment. That means that the WWE are pretty high on her. So, yeah, good for her. She's in a good spot. I don't know, man. It's just... I'm interested to see where they go with it. It's hard to predict how things are going to go because there's going to be a I can't speak English. Superstar shakeup, presumably. I think they announced it for either maybe after Backlash is when it's going to be. So it's kind of hard to predict where they're going to go with storylines because we don't know who's going to be on what brand. Except we can like predict a few based on results. But yeah, I don't know, whatever. It wasn't a bad match, but it was nothing spectacular. It wasn't really Mania worthy, if you ask me, but there's always a few matches on Mania that aren't like Mania worthy in terms of, I don't know, whatever. It was fine. It was a good moment for her. Congratulations, but I don't know. I wasn't really too into it. Next up was my main event, which was AJ versus Shinsuke. I think it was a good match. I think it was a really good match. Not Tokyo Dome Wrestle Kingdom 10 levels, obviously, but I feel like I feel like they were told to go out and have a WWE style match a little bit. I think they were maybe told by Vince, like, don't go too long, and if they can't go too long, they can't do something similar to their New Japan match. So I feel like, and this is just speculation, obviously, but I feel just the way the match went, I feel like they were held back a little bit just by something. But yeah, the good thing about this, right? This one was 50-50 as well. I thought Shinsuke was going to win. He didn't. AJ won. But the good thing about this is that there was a heel turn. Similar to Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho at Mania 19. You had them hugging it out after the match. Shinsuke showed respect to AJ, got on one knee and gave him the title, and then fucking hit him with a low blow. I saw on Twitter that he was calling him a bitch in Japanese while he was just repeatedly kicking the back of his head and neck, and then did a Kinshasa on the outside. Heel Shinsuke is something I'm excited for. I've heard he was a good heel. So, yeah, man, I'm excited for heel Shinsuke. I'm excited for a feud with these two because if they're teasing a feud with these two, I'm hoping that it means that they both get to stay on SmackDown. If one of them goes to Raw, that's going to be a shame. I feel like whether it's this Superstar Shakeup or the next, I feel like AJ is Raw bound, but I hope he stays on SmackDown because I think he's the embodiment of SmackDown, really. But yeah, man, good match, good ending. The Kinshasa countered into the Styles Clash was incredible. Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to a feud between these two. I'm looking forward to heel Shinsuke. And this was a swerve to me because they did that like mini documentary on Shinsuke. and then he turned heel. So that was a severe misdirection. Okay, next up this was kind of, I felt bad for this because this was pretty much the bathroom break match, which was Braun Strowman and his mystery partner versus Sheamus and Cesaro, the Bar. Because, Braun, I think, deserves better than being the bathroom break match, and I think the Bar deserved better than being the bathroom break match. But this match was fucking weird as fuck because everybody was speculating, Rey Mysterio, James Ellsworth, Alexa Bliss, fucking Bobby Lashley. Everybody was thinking, okay, we're gonna have a big old return or a debut at Mania. This motherfucker, Braun Strowman, goes out into the crowd and fucking basically kidnaps a kid to be his tag team partner. There's speculation that the kid's maybe one of the, I think John Cone's kid or a Make-A-Wish kid. I'm not really sure what the story behind the kid is. He's 100% a plant. They didn't tell Braun to go out and just pick a random kid. He's 100% a plant. But yeah, man, fucking Nicholas, fucking 10 years old, 10-year-old kid is the WWE Tag Team Champion. Fucking just, I don't know what is wrestling, really. It's fucking just ridiculous. Obviously, Braun wins. He's the Tag Team Champion with Nicholas. I think the best part of this match, there's two best parts. I think one of the best things of this match was when Braun went into the crowd to search for a partner, presumably looking for Nicholas, obviously, because he's a plant. There were so many drunk guys walking up beside him like, hey, pick me. Why don't you pick me, man? We got this. And security had to usher away so many drunk dudes trying to fucking walk beside Braun Strowman to be his partner. So I loved that. And so Braun tags in Nicholas, and Cesaro was just 100% within kayfabe ready to just kill a child. He was fucking revving up to fucking hit him with a European uppercut and just take his head clean off his shoulders. So yeah, man, just wrestling is just fucking ridiculous is the takeaway from this match. But I think it works out. He's probably gonna get stripped of the titles tonight. I'm assuming there will be a tag team title tournament, which would allow for AOP to debut. I would like them on SmackDown, but they're too similar to Bludgeon Brothers in the sense that they're big dudes. They're a destructive tag team. So, yeah, man. I think tag team tournament on Raw tonight gets announced after Braun gets stripped of the tag team titles. It allows Braun to go back into the singles division while getting a Mania win. And it allows AOP to come in and clean house and put them over. So, yeah. Which is there's a 99% chance that there's a pain get called up because there's nothing left for them in NXT. Yeah, man, it's a shame that this was the bathroom break match, but given what happened, that's why it was the bathroom break match. Next up, main event, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. This was a fucking swerve and a half, dude. First of all, very hard-hitting match, a decent match. And fucking Roman kicked out of 5 F5s. And I was like, wow, dude, this is fucking overkill. They're killing Lesnar's finish, and they're going to put him over like this. They're putting Roman over in no way out, not no way out. What was the Elimination Chamber type fashion where he just overcomes everything? He just, oh, hey, nothing can beat him. Don't worry about it type deal, where it's just unbelievably ridiculous. But then fucking Brock won after a 6th F5. Fucking Roman got busted open big time. His face was covered in blood. I don't know if that was hard way or if he bladed. I'm assuming he would have gotten fined if he bladed, but it was probably hard way knowing Brock. Brock's apparently a pretty stiff worker. So, yeah, man. This was such a fucking swerve. I don't think anybody expected Brock to win. Especially because it's Roman fucking Reigns, So this was just an incredible swerve. Now, I genuinely don't know what's happening with Brock anymore because I don't know if maybe Dana White was in the crowd, so maybe Vince called up Dana and he's like, hey, can you go on a television show and be like, hey, Brock's coming back, just so even more people think Roman's going to win. Maybe they were working together, or maybe Vince is crazy enough to have his champion working in UFC at the same time while working with him. Or something. I don't fucking know what's happening. But yeah, dude, I just fucking. This was a swerve and a half. Probably the biggest swerve of the night. This and Asuka. There were two matches where you thought, okay, 100% X is gonna win, but no, Y won. You know what I mean? Jesus fuck. Yeah, Mania itself was fine. I think in terms of giving Mania itself a rating, I think probably like an 8 out of 10. Like, it was a good show. Just I think it had potential to be like a 9 or 10, a 9 out of 10 or higher, and it kind of got an 8 out of 10 for me. So yeah, just between decision making and stuff like that. But yeah, man, fucking Roman took a beating. Everybody thought he was gonna win, and he fucking lost, man. Like, there were so many times where like the 3 count happened. I just kind of stood there. I was like, "What the fuck, really?" Like when Undertaker fucking beat Cena, I was like, "Wait, only one Tombstone beat him? Fucking really?" Jesus. And then fucking Brock's win, and fucking like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Decent show though, good show. Just kind of underwhelmed, and it's kind of crazy to think like an 8 out of 10 show was underwhelming. But it's just, I think it had potential to be a much better Mania, but it was still good nonetheless. So yeah, man, I'm excited to see what happens on Raw tonight and SmackDown tomorrow. I think for sure Authors of Pain get called up. I think Sanity has a chance of getting called up. I think Ember Moon might get called up, and I think Peyton and Billie Kay will probably get called up, unless they want to keep them down in NXT to give one of them a title run. I'm not sure who else would have the possibility of getting called up. I think some people thought Adam Cole would get called up, but obviously he's North American champion now. But yeah, I think AOP for sure. I think Sanity maybe. I think Ember's a maybe, and I think Iconic Duo are likely. I would have loved to see Johnny Gargano as well, but he won against Tommaso, so he's staying in NXT for a little while longer. Another one that could get called up is Cien Almas. But Drew McIntyre on the kickoff, on the pre-show for TakeOver, was talking about how he had unfinished business with Almas. So I don't know if that means they're both going to have a feud in NXT, or if they're going to use that to call both of them up. Like, Almas will get called up, and then on a random SmackDown or Raw, whichever brand he gets called up to, fucking Drew like jumps the barricade and kills him or something. I don't know. Yeah, man. So that was my thoughts on WrestleMania. Let me know what yours were down in the comments below. Let me know what you think will happen on Raw tonight and SmackDown tomorrow. Let me know who you think the NXT call-ups will be. Yeah, I don't see anybody else getting called up other than the ones I mentioned. But sometimes they surprise you with their call-ups, so you never know. But yeah, man, if you guys enjoyed this, please leave a like, subscribe, share all your friends, all that good shit. And I will see you guys next time.